So welcome to the next episode of Talent Ed. As you know, this podcast is brought to you by the team at Chapter 2. And our ambition really is to bring people onto this podcast to help educate people who are in the employer branding and talent acquisition space by sharing with you some of the tricks, tips, ways of working for some of the biggest corporates around the world of how they attract talent to their business. So you might learn something from it and take it to your business. This month, I'm really excited to introduce you to a friend of mine, Brad Rose. Hello, Brad.
Hey, Leo. How you doing? Well,
good. I'm good. So I've been trying to get Brad onto this for a little while now. Brad is an ex-executive for LinkedIn, and is probably someone who I've been personally leaning into recently to understand and to get some insights as to how LinkedIn actually works and what are the algorithms. When I go on to conferences and when I go to events, one of the most popular stands or most popular talks is the best 10 hacks for LinkedIn. So what we are going to be talking about today is trying to peel back the curtain or try to reveal some of the best ways and best methods, if you like, for employer brands to maximize their ability to attract talent to their business using LinkedIn. And, you know, with 600 million profiles around the world for LinkedIn, for me, it still is the standout social platform for companies to use when they're looking to hire talent. But I want to bring Brad in to tell you a little bit about his background and what his opinion of LinkedIn for employer brand is concerned. So, Brad, why don't you give us your point of view?
Yeah, cheers, Leo. To give you a bit of a background, when I was at university and even school, I was fortunate enough that I did see the value of LinkedIn quite early and the benefit that it can sort of deliver from a networking perspective. I think any job or internship or sort of business friendship that I've ever sort of got has been through LinkedIn, or originally through LinkedIn and then emails to contacts, and then eventually has resulted in a great relationship or a job or an opportunity or whatever it may be. So I was lucky enough I saw that from a really young age. And a friend from university sort of jumped on the LinkedIn grad scheme, and he was telling me about it. It was called the Business Leadership Program, and yeah, this sort of journey began. So July last year, I joined LinkedIn on the Business Leadership Program, and that was rotational around the business in their EMEA headquarters in Dublin. And from then onwards, I worked in the business development department, specifically for LinkedIn Learning. But where my real passion lied at LinkedIn was sort of coaching professionals, university students, and students alike to get the most out of LinkedIn from a free perspective without utilizing the premium or the paid sales navigator tool, which is often out of reach of a traditional budget of whether you're a professional or a student. It doesn't matter. It's an expensive sort of implementation to the platform, but you can really get extreme value from LinkedIn itself. And like you were saying there, from an employer brand perspective and or employee advocacy perspective, LinkedIn is the place to be. I think more than anything, you really trust it when a connection of yours or a contact within your network is pushing a message out to you. You really engage with it. You can like it. You can see the human nature of that communication. Whereas if, let's say, PwC is pushing out a message about their grad scheme, I mean, it's obviously believable, but at the same time, you're thinking this is coming from a HR department who want good talent. Whereas if I was on the grad scheme at PwC, like many of my friends are, and they posted about their experience at the grad scheme and how amazing it was, whether that's on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or even TikTok now, like you believe it way more. And there's some stats which I'm sure you can give to your viewers after, but content shared on LinkedIn receives 8 times the amount of engagement if it's posted by actual employee rather than the actual employer from a employer brand itself.
Yeah, I think actually we should do that. Actually, after this podcast, we will we'll write up some of these tips and tricks and ways to get the best from LinkedIn, and we'll put it on our website as a downloadable document.
Sure.
So you touched on a lot of stuff there. So you touched on very briefly personal profiles versus company profiles, which I previously talked a lot about with my clients. You've also talked about personal stories and recommendations. So I want to start to sort of pick that apart a bit and break that down. Let's talk about the personal recommendation side of things. So you're right. In my experience, the employer brand doesn't just sit at the employer company LinkedIn page. It should sit with every individual that works for that company. As a LinkedIn page, it says they work there.
Yeah.
Now, while content can be pushed out through LinkedIn and the company page, it can be amplified massively if the employees of that business continue to either like or share. If they, you told me this, one of the things about LinkedIn is that, if you post something on LinkedIn and I like it, not only do all of my connections now see your post, but all of the connections that you are not connected with will see your post. So they get the opportunity to expand your reach through that post automatically.
Exactly.
Thinking about that when it comes to a piece of content that they might be wanting to promote regarding diversity and inclusion in business, or think about that with something as simple as a job advert. If I'm a company profile and I've got a few thousand followers, but I've also got a few thousand employees that probably got a few thousand more followers, you can think about the amplification of how far that job can reach. And if somebody within your business is sharing it, it is also a personal recommendation saying, I work here, it's a good place to be. And if you want to work here too, then here's a job, right?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And like you say, it's the network effect you see. So you see it at universities, companies, societies, sports clubs, but at LinkedIn, it's even more sort of substantial. The fact that, like you said, Leo, like if I put a post on this morning about something I've got up to at my workplace, you like it, you comment on it, whatever it is, that will go up to your network. And if you've got 1,000 people, they're going to be seeing it as well. So more than anything, I think, as good as a company page is, it needs to be sharp. It needs to have every sort of box ticked. Where the real value comes in is engaging your employees and really pushing that content out through them, but organically. I think there's a lot of, I won't mention names, but there's a lot of sort of employee advocacy solutions out there which aren't organic. And businesses are just saying, right, share this report, share that report. But there's lots of different elements to that, which is why they never get any likes, or why that will never actually reach your Instagram page if I like someone's, because it doesn't have the organic value there. It's not consistent enough. And I think at the same time, there's no passion behind it. Yeah. I think you see some amazing content providers on LinkedIn who are super passionate about what they do. And those are the guys and girls who are really, really sort of getting 500, 600, 700 likes on their posts. And their engagement must be mad and having millions of profile views. And if you link that back to a company page, then that looks incredible on the company.
So let's just drill into that a bit more. So if you've got employees that are posting stuff out, they should link that back to the company page, which could then drive more followers back to the company profile, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think a point on that to be really, really wary of is links. So I think we discussed this the other day when we caught up, but the idea with links is to really avoid them in your post. If I'm posting about, let's say, a job advert, as you used an example a second ago. So you've got a job advert. If I'm posting this job advert, I don't want to be posting it in my actual post. I want to be talking about my experience of that role or of my time in that department or in that company, and explaining about what the role of the job is, maybe some key points about the job, some requirements, but don't put the link in there. Make sure you put the link in the comments, because when you put the link in a post, that's going against the LinkedIn algorithm, because ultimately LinkedIn have paid solutions. So they've got their sort of marketing solutions and talent solutions, which is actually sort of combined now into one. So they want, if you're sharing a job, they want you to use that paid solution, which is thousands of pounds, to promote that job. So as soon as you put a job link in your post, the LinkedIn algorithm clocks onto that, and you're pretty much bottom of the algorithm.
That's really interesting.
Whereas if you're putting it in a comment, it's not actually in the post. And at the same time, I think if you're looking at a post, it's organic. You've written about sort of your experiences in that role, and it's got a few comments and a few likes, you're more likely to engage in it anyway. So I think that's a really good point, which I think any talent professionals looking at sort of implementing something like this should focus on.
Yeah, I must admit, I was, when I realized this, I was getting punished for that, because I was doing two things, to be honest with you. I will personally confess that I was being lazy. So when my company profile posted something, I would just go share, right? Yeah. And then I'd wonder, hold on a second, this post that I sent out last week, which was like, I don't know, about, I don't know, my daughter or my son's pinata that I was pointing at for his birthday, he got like lots of likes, and this really insightful piece of work that we've done, because I just shared it, hasn't got any likes. And it's because I've been lazy, right? I didn't actually take that content, give my own personal point of view to that content, take time to curate something, and then post it out from my point of view. Then because LinkedIn saw I was just sharing something, they just sent me straight down the pecking order, right?
Yep.
If I put some work into that post, then LinkedIn would have pushed it up, and then a few people would have seen it, they would have liked it, and then the engagement would have amplified and gone further, right?
Exactly that. And the more consistent you are with your sort of organic and passionate posts, and the more consistent you are with remembering, right, let's put this in the comments, or really utilizing the space that you actually do have on a LinkedIn post, the higher and higher you go up the algorithm. So you see some people sort of posting the most basic things. It could literally be a blank post, but it's more likely to be on thousands of profiles than, say, something you shared from chapter 2, which is the most insightful thing ever. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, definitely does. And here's a controversial one for you that I've seen, and I think through my own posting, I made my position on this quite clear. Is LinkedIn a business-only social platform, or is it okay, in your view, to show a bit more about you as a person, your life, your family? I've seen people, and I'm not going to be that nasty, but I don't agree with it when I see save that for Facebook or something. I hate seeing that sort of stuff, because for me, work is, a big part of my life. My colleagues know me personally, my clients know me personally. So I want LinkedIn people to know me personally. So I think, yes, there is a balance to be made, but I can't stand it when I see that's for Facebook, not for LinkedIn. What's your view?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had this discussion a lot recently with sort of clients and friends and family who I've been helping out with LinkedIn. And I think it really goes back to knowing your industry and knowing what's best for your industry. I think for me, working in tech at LinkedIn, I originally came from the viewpoint like, no, this is your digital brand. This is your brand that you would have had at school or university or in your first job. It's the brand that people see you in, and that persona you push off, but digitalized. So for me, and you were likely, I think we're pretty similar. I would definitely post about, for example, I did a post about cold water swimming about a year ago, and it had massive engagement and people loved it. Yeah. But if I was, I don't know, a partner of a law firm, would that be so appropriate? I'm not sure, because I'm not in that industry, and I think it really is just very personal in terms of what you want to be posting. But I think in terms of the criticism and stuff, leave people to it. I think you have the option of disconnecting or unfollowing them if you don't be seeing that. But I really do think, from a hiring perspective, a sales perspective, whatever it may be, but specifically for this podcast, a hiring perspective, LinkedIn, being passionate on LinkedIn is the easiest way for a hiring manager to see the personality of that person. That's why I make mine as sort of out there as I possibly can about my passions. I say I like triathlon, I like open water swimming, I've started CrossFit, whatever it may be, because you as a hiring manager might like CrossFit also. and you're way more likely to sort of jump in and have a conversation with me if you also like CrossFit, and we can have a sort of icebreaker about CrossFit. And I think it makes it easier for the hiring manager and me as a candidate.
Well, I think you're right. I think, one of the things that we talk about at Chapter 2 all the time is that, if your content for your employer brand or your vacancies and your talent attraction strategies, if your content doesn't show you a world in which it's like to work for us, the type of people that work for us, the fun that we have, the work that we do, if you don't open up and show people what it's like to work here through these platforms, they don't know, right? So they're just throwing a CV at a wall, hoping it sticks. And even if it does stick and they like you, you don't know if you really like them because you haven't been able to see what it's like in that business. So you might get there and go, oh my God, this is horrendous. It's not like me at all. I'm glad I got the job, but I'm going to leave in 3 months when I find something better. So content isn't just about attracting talent. It's about giving that window in which for them to see what it's like working there. So you get the right talent,
Yeah, 100%. And I totally agree to really encourage your employees, let's say PwC, for example, again, or Salesforce, or whoever the employer is, to really encourage their employees to go out there and be themselves and put out that personal brand that reflects the overall umbrella brand is really important, because I think you need to know, like you say, when you're going into an organization, am I going to enjoy this job more than just sort of like it pays well and it's an opportunity, it's a job? Because I think me sort of looking for opportunities, I look for more than that now, and I know all my friends do as well. And my connections on LinkedIn are looking for more than just a job or a salary. They're looking for a culture. They're really looking for sort of strong values, which they see from the company career page, but then also the employees that are currently working there.
Yeah, and I think I don't know of any other agencies that specifically do what Chapter 2 does. So there's a reason why I brought together within one functionality high value, high quality content that creates that window, and an in-house recruitment capability that sees the people that are engaging with that content, the audience, and looks to bring them in and sell the benefits and bring them into their world. Because there's two things at play, really. There's one thing at play, which is the content shows how compatible you two are as organization and individual. And if I like what you're putting out there and I can see you're my kind of company, then I'm going to apply for a job. And then that's the employer branding piece done. And when you are in that interview session or first stage screening session with the in-house talent team that we provide, you're then assessing the second thing, which is, we like you, but are you capable of doing the job? So let's talk about your capability. Let's talk about your experiences and stuff, which can't be articulated through content. So that's why I think it's so important. These things have to come together. And I've seen too many businesses separate them out,
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I think it's really important to like focus on the order that you just sort of explained that in. It was the sort of capability second and sort of the actual fit first, because I think someone can be capable and go into an organization, but they won't do well because they're not a fit in that organization and they don't fit in culture. They don't add to the culture, which I think is an important element. You don't fit in, you're always adding to a culture, but then you're looking at if they fit in, and then you're going, right, you'll fit in, but are you capable? And I think that's the right order to do it in. So kudos to you guys.
Let's get back to some sort of some tactics that you and I talked about that we'd share. Let's talk about the company profile for a start, because if you're responsible for employer branding, you will have obviously a company page, and it needs to be tidy, clean, presentable. But you obviously know all of the facets of that are available to employer brand managers that are responsible for the company page within LinkedIn. Can you take us through the sections, the best use of the sections, the use of video, and maybe even, I think you might even have a case study or something, an example that you might want to share?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, if we're looking at a company case study, I'd recommend everyone to just pop onto LinkedIn and search in the search bar Salesforce. I know it's a massive company, but it's a really great sort of example to show how a company page should look. And I think with these company pages, if you're wanting to pay LinkedIn large amounts of money to talent solutions or marketing solutions to really pump your page out there with the best sort of employer brand, that's fine. But I don't think the value is there. I think you can achieve a lot more value by having a more basic sort of company page, which ticks all the boxes. So you have your about section, you sort of have all your employees on LinkedIn actually linked up to your company page. I think that's a really basic one. I see when I was working at LinkedIn in business development as well, you go on a company page where the HR director's just told you that there's 100 employees in the UK, and you go on to LinkedIn and there's only 10, and you think, is that accurate? Well, obviously the HR sort of director manager knows the employee count, but on LinkedIn there's only 10 people. So going back to that element of looking on pages and looking at the sort of transparency that gives you, you need to encourage all your employees to sort of jump onto that company page and link those accounts up through
So what you're saying there is, instead of focusing on spend, because let's be honest, right? Employer brand teams do not have the budgets that I feel they should have, right?
Yeah.
So if an employer brand wants to really amplify and attract talent and show the market what a great way it looks after its talent, what a diverse workforce it has, it probably hasn't got the marketing budgets that a marketing company would do or marketing team would do anywhere close to an employer branding. And actually, I believe that employer brand is now starting to sit more shoulder to shoulder with the marketing brand, because, when people buy from that company, they also look at how they treat their employees. So what you're saying really here is, it's how you spend your money. Instead of spending lots of money on these, absolutely quite right, fantastic talent solutions and tools and capabilities, but if you don't have that budget, focus more on the hygiene factors of the homepage itself, making sure that your employees are all connected with your business, make sure your employees are all sharing your content, and make sure that the sections that you can use that are available to you that you might not have the budget to use are maximized, if you like.
Exactly that. Yeah, 100%. I would agree with that. And sort of going on from that, you let's say you have a budget of 10K. Rather than spending that budget on a LinkedIn solution, and by the way, LinkedIn solutions are incredible, but if you've got a small budget, I think there's better ways to spend your money, such as a video or something in going around interviewing a number of your employees that work there, and using that content on the company page, and then equally, as we spoke about before, pumping that out to your own employees.
Yeah.
And rather than them sharing a link of a YouTube video, send them the actual sort of the video file and let them upload it themselves. And there's no way of the algorithm sort of jumping back and saying, actually, they're trying to advertise a company. You're just pumping out organic content, from your own LinkedIn page. But yeah, I see that the company page is a very sort of staple vanilla element to an employee advocacy or branding strategy, to be honest with you, something to solidify but don't focus on too heavily.
Yeah, I'd agree 100% with that. And one thing that I want to touch on that, again, I've talked about before, but use it as a portal in which good content can flow through. Don't just rely on the LinkedIn algorithms. The quality of the stuff you put on there will speak volumes. It is like a blender. You put crap in, crap will come out the other end. But you don't have to spend tens of thousands of pounds on this content. And the two things I always say to every employer brand person that I work with is, instead of me coming to your business with a film crew and filming your offices and all your people and maybe a city landscape, because everybody has got a drone these days, first thing, go to your marketing department, right? And find out, they've probably got an agency they work with on the marketing side, right? They probably paid for assets to promote the brand or the business themselves already, and understand what assets you can then take and sweat even harder to then repurpose to promote the talent and all the people that work at the business. Yeah. Furthermore, the best way to talk about and sell the culture of your business, and Amina Falarin touched on this from my old agency, Oliver, is by using your own people to tell those stories. And you don't need a film crew to tell those stories. iPhones can do them for you, and they can be done, and they can be more authentic if you use your own people to talk about their career journeys, you know. And when you've got your own people talking about how amazing the company is to work for and how they've been looked after, people potentially looking into work for that company will see if that, you know, they are akin to those individuals, and understand that it's a place they want to be, and it will attract them to come work there.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. And I've listened to that podcast as well, and I was agreeing with it throughout.
Yeah, it's great. Let's talk a bit about posting, because everybody does a lot of posting. You know, I do it, and you know, we always look for the engagements. There are some ways in which you can post that help get more engagement, we'll say. We've talked about a number of things today. Some of them I think are really good. Some of them I think are not so good. But what we're trying to talk about here is dwell time, right? Because a LinkedIn algorithm around dwell time if you're dwelling on a particular post for a period of number of seconds, LinkedIn are seeing that you like that post and you're dwelling on it, so they push it up the algorithms, right? Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, for sure, exactly. And like you said, there's lots of elements to a good post. And again, when we were talking about sort of your personal brand on LinkedIn, it's subjective and it can be down to industry. But what I'd normally say for someone looking for opportunities, for example, or looking for sales leads or whatever it may be, really just focus on bringing energy to that post, and again, bringing your brand to that post. So if you're all about sort of color and passion and drive, like maybe throwing some emojis there. I think emojis are a really nice way to stand out from the crowd. I think more and more people are doing it, but it's still niche, and yeah, jump in as and when you can. But yeah, like you were saying about, that's just one example, emojis, but dwell time, sort of jumping onto that. That's really essential, because the amount of people you'll know and I'll know and listeners today, or viewers, however this is formatted, will know, is that there are passive sort of LinkedIn scrollers or users that don't like to like, comment, share, whatever it may be. And the way the AI works on LinkedIn and the engineering team, and we can share an article for the viewers after as well, which I sent over to you before, Leo, is that they still need to register what these passive users are registering and reading and wanting more of. And the way they do that is dwell time. So if I'm a passive user and you share a great post, and I'm actually reading this organic, sort of passionate post that you've written, I'm thinking, great, this is awesome, but I'm a bit shy on LinkedIn. I don't know if I want to like this for whatever reason. That still registers, and that still goes towards pumping you up the algorithm, which I think is such an important thing to remember. And I've got some points here. So like we were saying, yes, use emojis, whatever it may be. Use see more, because I think we're very inquisitive as humans, really. And if you see part of the post which interests you, whether it be big capitals saying fresh announcement at chapter 2 or fresh announcement at PwC, whatever it may be, that's a rubbish example, but something like that, and then sort of use the return key twice, it will come up when you post it as see more. So I'm thinking, what has Leo just posted? So I want to see more. So when I click see more, that's dwell time. That's you clicking on the post without liking or engaging with it. No one sees that apart from the algorithm. So you click see more, and then you see the full post, and it whatever it is it could have a sort of a paragraph element to every sentence you do, but it's taking longer to read maybe because of that. And then again, dwell time. So I think that's really important, how that really pumps up the algorithm.
You know, there are two examples I give of that. One's a personal one. So when I met a friend once who gave me a lot of advice on how to improve my personal brand. It was a really impressive guy called Stephen Bartlett, and he was telling me a bit about how you improve your social brand. He's phenomenal at it, and he said to me, talk to me a bit about what you're doing at chapter 2. I said, well, sometimes I'm selling, and sometimes I'm putting out fires. And I said to him, I'm everything from the head chef to the pot washer, And he said, that's a great line, right? Why don't you say head chef to pot washer? And then we did a see more. And then we did a story about, my role chapter 2 and what we're trying to do. And it got loads of engagement because people were interested.
Yeah.
Another one I had was, and I don't know which company did this, but it was very clever. I don't even know if this must still be relevant, but I'm showing my age. Where's Wally? The books of Where's Wally, and you open it and it's just a mass of people, and you've got to find Wally on the page. You take ages to look. One of the guys literally did a Where's Wally post to promote the business that they're working for, and there was everybody was sitting there going, right, where's Wally? Where's Wally? And all this time the algorithm was going 1, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. This is a really interesting post, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. And I don't know this clock's ticking, but I'm trying to find Wally. It's almost like gamification, to get you up the list. And it worked a dream.
So Leo, yeah, I totally agree. A really good example of that would be, let's say, a talent agency or internal HR organization, whatever it may be, wanting to get a post or more followers on their company page, or more engagement if it's a startup, whatever it may be. Let's say a bit like you normally do a competition or something. So like, share and comment 3 friends if you want the opportunity to win a day with our CEO or something like that, because I think a lot of university students would love the opportunity to spend a day with a CEO of a new startup or a mid-market company or an enterprise company. And I think that's a great way of giving away a free product as such, which doesn't cost the company anything, but getting an amazing engagement and not necessarily dwell time, but you've got the likes, you've got the comments, you've got the shares, which is going to pump up the algorithm, or something like the Where's Wally, where it's just dwell time, which is going to pump up the algorithm. So 2 different avenues which work equally well, or obviously you can marry them together, and that's where you get super success. And Stephen's examples on LinkedIn, I follow Stephen, incredible, and I don't think there's one post he's got which hasn't got the most incredible amount of engagement, and equally passion and value and content for people. I read Stephen's stuff and I'm like, wow, that's really relevant to me. And
yeah, and consistency as well, as you mentioned earlier. Consistency is very consistent.
Exactly. It's all about consistency. I think on LinkedIn is that the algorithm favors that as well, just really playing into its hands. They know that when Leo or Stephen post, it's going to be a good post and people are going to enjoy it. So automatically it's going to be the top of everyone's newsfeed for days, rather than, let's say, if I wasn't passionate, I wasn't consistent, and I wasn't organic, and I was showing loads of links, I'm never going to get to the top, no matter if I'm the CEO of HSBC. I would not get to the top in comparison to Stephen or yourself.
I think that's fair. And what people are looking for when they want engagement is they want something from their post. They want they're taking something from Stephen's giving it out, or they're taking something from me, so we're giving out information. And one of the things that I've always said about content, I think I learned this from Gary Vaynerchuk, another master of this, is content's only any good if you're giving stuff. You've got to give people stuff, So in your example for the content for, I don't know, an hour or a lunch with the CEO of the company, you're giving away the CEO's time. People are like, oh my God, yeah, CEO of this company, it's inspiring me. So think about that from a talent acquisition point of view. I could get an hour with the CEO of the company that I might apply for. This guy, I'm going to be on this guy's radar. I'm not even in the business yet. So, but you are giving something away to the audience, No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Let's talk about stories a little bit because and some of the top hacks we'll finish on. So one of the things that I've talked about is when you want to create an employer brand, one of the things that chapter 2 really aim to do is go into a business, and the value that we add is that we try to draw out the great stuff that your business does that probably doesn't see as that amazing, because they do it all day, every day for their people anyway. But we draw out the amazing things that you do within your business. And then we look to create film to articulate that to an audience that gives you that window in which to be able to see into what this company is looking or is like to work for. So as an example, we're hiring a huge number of technology developers, DevOps engineers, software engineers, .NET developers at the moment. Now, if I'm creating a piece of content that's going to attract that type of talent, I'm probably not going to get their attention if I put a piece of content out there that's that I would use, and that's looking to hire client services people or account management people, because people react to different content. If I put content out there that articulates the type of tools and technologies that this team work with in the DevOps team, the amount of terabytes and software platforms that they're engaged with, their ability to work in huge technology environments with millions of, trillions of terabytes, et cetera, fast-paced technology platforms, innovative products that are coming to market that can really be game changers for an industry. That would turn me on, because if I'm a developer building these things, I know that the environment I'm going to go work in is a great environment. They've got all the tools and the toys that I can play with, and I'm creating stuff that actually makes a difference. So what I'm saying by saying that is by dramatizing something as simple as the amazing working environment that these people work within, bringing that out into a story and publishing that, it might seem as just normal to the big corporate that are looking high. Of course, they work with X number of terabytes, and look, of course, they work with this number of data. And this client, of course, we've got 80 million data sets that we're going to work with him. But actually, to someone they're looking to hire, they've got 80 million set of data I can look to manipulate and work and productize. It would really turn them on. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that dramatizing the stories that they might not even think matter can make a huge difference to attracting the right talent to their business, I think, and publishing that through LinkedIn and through stories.
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally agree. And I think it really goes back to that point that on LinkedIn, always speak to your audience and always speak to your expertise. That if you are an expert in IT for a global organization with a massive IT department, which is hiring on scale, use your passion, use your expertise, and utilize LinkedIn stories, for example, to post about that. Show off what you've got. But I wouldn't be posting about stuff if you weren't an expert at it and that sort of thing. Really focus on what your expertise lie in, and like dramatize it. Really push it out there. And I think there's so many good examples. Again, let's use Stephen from a personal branding perspective. As a 23-year-old CEO. This is someone who's been there, he's done it. He knows how to build a successful business and build a successful brand. So people listen to him for that reason, because he's an expert. And it's like you were saying about the developers, maybe they are hiring X number of developers, they're experts, they're going to push out their knowledge. That would mean nothing to me personally, because I'm not in the development/IT world, but they're not looking to recruit me. They're looking to recruit the people who understand that language. So like you say, it's really important for agencies like yourself to really help organizations speak the language that they're looking to hire.
Absolutely, that's perfect. Thank you. So LinkedIn Top Hacks. You mentioned Boolean as a platform that you can use if you might not have the budget, let's say, to get LinkedIn Recruiter, like many employer brands of smaller companies don't have. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, for sure, Leo. So essentially, Boolean search gives you the ability to utilize what you traditionally be able to do on LinkedIn Talent Solutions, which the sort of premium flagship tool is Recruiter, or LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So it's great for recruiters and salespeople alike. And it's really utilizing the use of quotation marks. So if I was looking for a developer in London and also did some non-for-profit corporate social responsibility stuff, using sort of quotation marks and a variety of capitals such as and or, you can really specify what's going to be coming up from your search results, rather than just searching in developer, because you're going to get thousands of different sort of results that you'll never be able to get through. But this Boolean search, which we can share with the listeners after, really enables you to break down and find it could be as minimal as 10 people that you want to look at. So a developer in London who has done a lot of corporate social responsibility, you could find that through the Boolean search. You could also find it through Talent Solutions or Sales Solutions. But the difference is that one costs X amount of $100 a month. That one costs thousands of dollars a year, but the Boolean search is completely free and full stop. And I think it's a really great tool, and LinkedIn have it available so people can use it. So it's a great hack for people to use. I think another one on that sort of element of utilizing LinkedIn as a free sort of solution, a free product, in comparison to this time, not talent solutions, not sales solutions, but LinkedIn Premium. So we've all heard LinkedIn Premium. We've all got the messages from the sales guys at LinkedIn saying, pay $49 a month. You don't necessarily need to do that. And I really wouldn't recommend, if you don't have unlimited funds and at the end of the day, money doesn't grow on trees. It's a lot of money to pay for that premium. Where I always sort of say to students, look, you're wanting to get into banking and finance or sales, or I know that's super broad, but as an example, banking and finance. How can you message those people in banking and finance if they're not connected with you? Well, yeah, true, premium's great for that, but there's a better alternative, which is completely free. If you or I, Leo, wanted to go into banking and finance, there's thousands and thousands of groups on LinkedIn, which are banking and finance groups. And once you're part of that group, you can message anyone in that group for free. It's a free message because you're part of the same group. And I think that's so fundamental, because a lot of times you can send connection requests to, I don't know, as founder of Chapter 2, people might send you connection requests, but you're getting so many hundreds a week or a month that you might miss one, and it might be a really valuable contact, but you miss it. But if you're in the same, let's say, recruitment group on LinkedIn, which are free to join, you literally can just go on the left sort of panel of your LinkedIn profile. You can see all the groups down there. Join a group that you're interested in. And once you're in that group, you can message anyone in that group for free.
That's amazing. Brad, thank you so much. This is the reason why I do this podcast. I'm going to be honest with you, is to get people within the industry to share ways and tips of how to get ahead when it comes to employer branding and attracting talent to come work for your business. And obviously, LinkedIn is the number one tool. We both agree on that. And if you have the budgets, you should definitely look to maximize your relationship with LinkedIn, because I do personally, and through Chapter 2 I do as well. But there are, if you don't have the budget, other ways and means to get access to talent. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time. It's getting late, and I know you're a busy guy. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to share your thoughts and your experiences. And I'm sure people will want to connect with you once I put this out on LinkedIn. I'm sure you'll be cool if they've got any questions or two.
Yeah, of course. Any questions, please send them across. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation or a Zoom call. And equally, thank you, Leo. I'm super excited to see where you take Chapter 2. Really exciting journey. So good luck.
Thanks, Brad. Cheers.
Cheers, Leo. Bye.